That's cool too.
You know what I mean?
100%. 100%. Scott, what do you want to talk about, man? Kick us
I don't
off.
know. I think we can all agree the women's game is way more realistic to what we play. So why don't we start with that? I think you gentlemen probably watch more women's golf than I do, but that's probably because I don't watch live TV hardly at all to begin with. So why don't you guys take it away?
I am a fan of the women's game, 100%. Do I follow all of them? No, but at the same time, do I watch it? Yes, absolutely. I mean, I watch men's majors, and then if I'm flipping through TV and women's golf is on, I'm watching that over the John Deere or the Valspar or any random weeks for sure. It's just because you see shots that we hit, you know, and not every shot is hit to the perfect spot because they can't stop it. A lot of times they have to play a hole a different way because they can't stop it on the greens that they're playing on. I think that's a huge thing to it because, I mean, you think about it, those guys are pinching stuff that, you know, the common golfer can't pinch from 30 yards to get it to stop and spin, you know, and the ladies aren't either. You know, they can't create the speed to create the spin to get a ball to sit where they want to, so they have to play it a little bit differently. And I think it's a neat game to watch. But
I agree.
You know, and you see some of the just like some of the stories that get blown up in men's golf, like happen in women's golf all the time, and nobody really talks about it just because it's not as popular of a sport. And I get it and all that kind of stuff, but I think it's neat though. It's like this girl, what's her name? Like Anya Dunneman, something like that.
Okay, the Irish girl.
She's from Ireland, right? She plays at LSU. She's like a freshman or a sophomore in college. She's like 21. So she's overseas. They're playing in like some amateur women's event, like countries are playing each other, like Ireland's playing Scotland or something like last week. So she's over there playing for Ireland the week before the Women's US Open that she qualified for. First tour event, first professional event is the US Open. And she's over in Scotland playing for Ireland the week before in some amateur event. You know what I mean? But that's some of those countries over there that they take pride, and good for them. And I love the fact that they do that. But so she flies over here, clubs get lost, they don't have it. So she goes to like the ping van, grabs a set of clubs out of the damn ping truck, goes and plays, ends up liking the driver. Okay, her clubs show up, driver's broke in her bag. So she's like, oh, great. We were contemplating taking this one that I got out of the rental set from Ping. Right? So she decides to play the driver, ends up getting her clubs, but she had played with the rental set enough that she plays with the entire wood set out of this bag. And goes and shoots 69. Like, no big deal. And, you know, if you didn't find the YouTube video, you didn't know about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just wild that, like, dude, she took a set of woods out of a ping bag out of a truck and goes and shoots 300 at Pebble Beach. After bogeying the first two holes and getting up and down the third and the fourth hole for par.
Crazy. She played amazing. The other thing that I think is interesting about the women's game is it seems to be more competitive at the top than the men's game, right? Yeah. There's more majors. There's more women that have a opportunity to win the major than I think there's men that have the opportunity to win the major. So it creates stiffer competition, and if you follow the women's game, there are more notable names that you can go and watch than if you follow the men's game.
Well, and at the same time, any of these women or girls, if you want to call it, any of these girls can get any week and play with anybody in the world. There's 16-year-olds out there. There's Zhang. Look at Zhang. You know, I mean, let her play a week of good golf. Watch what happens.
Right.
You know, right. I mean, it's just, it's one of those things. Just let one of those girls click and it's on. Stay out of the way. And somebody you have no idea who they were just blew out the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Something I think that's so impressive too is that like this year, a 9-year-old was qualifying for the U.S. Open. Never would that happen in the men's game at all. Like we can't fathom that as a common golfer. Like trying to go out and qualify, let alone a small child. But in the women's game, and it's not to take away, I think it's just like how determined they can be and how driven they can be. And I think that's really cool and admirable. But then, like, on the other side of the coin, you're watching them play and they're like, oh, they're going to go, such and such is going to go for this par 5 and 2. She's 237 out. And it's like, hey, I know what that's like. It's a 3-wood or a 5-wood, depending on what the wind's doing, or if it's uphill, downhill. Maybe if the wind's helping and whatnot, I might hit a driving iron. And that's the kind of clubs they're hitting. We're not listening to them
it's
sit there and say
175 into the wind. Hey, they might pull a 5-iron. It's like, yeah, I've
yeah,
done that.
yeah,
It's not 9-iron, you know.
yeah, exactly.
It's like,
It's like, oh, here's Rory McIlroy on the 15th hole, and he's got 242 in with a right to left wind.
with a
He's
six
gonna
iron.
he's gonna sling a
Yeah,
6-iron in there, and it's like, yeah, I don't have that. Like,
yeah.
no,
But then, of course, they don't talk about the fact that the ball bounces 10 yards short of the green and then it rolls the extra 30 yards back to the pin.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? But it's like, so he hit that like 190 in the air? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, okay, let's be honest. Those boys, they can fly the piss out of the ball. I mean, it
They
is
can mash
remarkable,
it.
but
They can mash it.
they can mash it, but you are right. Like a lot of times they talk up and talk about the number that they're hitting to, not the number that they're actually hitting the ball, and
Correct.
so yeah, I mean it was really evident when the men played at Jack's tournament at the Memorial, and there was a few
Yes.
holes where they're having to bounce it in or land it at the front, and you're hearing them talk about, oh, look how far he's hitting it. This is a 6-iron on the 4th hole, and it's like, well, the pin's kind of middle to back on the left, and they're landing that 6-iron at the very front of the green, so that 220-yard shot realistically is only getting carried 190-ish yards. And so, yeah, I mean, to your point, they don't do that. But in the women's game, it's totally relatable to us. And I think it's a testament to how stinking good they are.
Well, the women's game is driven based off of accuracy, whereas
And
the
the thing
men's
is,
game
and
is
that's
distance.
it's distance. Yeah. Anybody,
Yeah,
and it's a more level playing field because people with different abilities can succeed. A 9-year-old can play with them. Why? Because that 9-year-old hits it really far for a 9-year-old. You know what I
Right.
mean?
but
Like
also
that's
probably really straight.
right, but
Hmm.
hits it really straight, gets it up and down from everywhere, and they can play with them. Are they going to hit the same clubs? No, they're not going to hit the same amount of greens probably, but they're going to get up and down because that little kid's got nerves of steel.
I was on Instagram earlier today and I saw a post from Golf Digest. They were talking about Nelly Korda making the cut as a 14-year-old kid, the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It's amazing what these women can do.
So Jackie Stolting, I'm not certain what her current status is, but she's been on the Futures and the Symetra and all that, and she's been playing, I think, pretty regularly on the LPGA Tour. And Jackie went to the same college as I did, around the same time. I don't think Jackie averages more than like 240, 245 yards off the tee. Like that's it. I mean, and that's
Golf
probably
her
where I'm
ball.
hitting. That's probably, oh, exactly. That's probably where I'm hitting a 3-wood or 5-wood.
Yeah,
Do I think she could smoke me on the course? Yeah, if we
absolutely.
keep it below 7,000 yards, pretty good chance. And, that's how good that they are, but we can still relate to it, and that is what makes it fun. I mean, I've got a little girl.
Yeah, long
Um,
par four, they beat your brains out with a hybrid.
yeah, I got a little girl that's, going to go into the first grade, and she asked to watch women's golf, and I think that's awesome because it's like, yeah, let's turn it on. That's fun. I think the other thing that's great is it's so much easier to point out a role model, which is kind of fun as a parent, when you're watching the men, it gets a little bit trickier because you're still waiting for like that F bomb or waiting to see them like spit some dip or to do something, that's just like, yeah, let's just,
Something
but
something competitive.
Yeah, something competitive or just something gross. Whereas the ladies, I mean, it's like they're so natural just to go out there and compete and get down to the business. And then the other thing I love is how much you see them like smiling and laughing when they're playing. Um, yes, they're competitors, but they also, they're close, and they're friends. And we're seeing that a little bit more in the men's game, but in the ladies, it's so prevalent. They're having so much fun being around each other. Even though they love beating each other's brains in, they're having fun. And I love it that my daughter's, taking that into.
I ended up taking my kids to the PGA Tour event over the last couple of years. They love going to the Valspar. They love going to the Pro-Am day, so they get to go walk around and talk to the guys that are playing. And the last couple of years, I've tried to get my kids to go with me to the women's golf event.
At Pelican.
Yeah. So we're gonna go this year.
Cool.
It's the same week as my birthday, so I always try to end up doing that. But it's always also the same week as member guest at East Lake. So
we're dropping names now.
Down there. Yeah, we never end up making it down there. We're doing the golf stuff instead. But
well, hey, I'll tell you what. I'll take one for the team. You tell Jerry I'll fill in, and you're going to take the kids to Pelican for 3 days. All right.
You'd put him in a different flight, man. He don't want to play with you.
I can play down.
Oh man.
Sounds like somebody's gonna adjust their gin to play the golf courses, huh? I got you. Fair enough. Now, speaking of name dropping, actually, I got a call earlier today from one of my counterparts in the Carolinas. Called me and said, "Can you come to the Carolinas the last weekend in July?" I said, "Yes." I was like, "I got to know what days, but yeah, like a couple days." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, well, "What are we doing?" Right. So I was in already because like he calls me and says, "You coming?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm coming." What am I coming for? I'm on my way.
Biltmore.
And no, we're gonna go to Cashers and gonna do Wade Hampton, Mountaintop, and High Hampton.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they just rebuilt that course.
Yeah, supposed to do those 3. So that's like
sweet.
That's like a top 25 in the country.
High Hampton?
No.
Wade. Yeah.
Wade Hampton is.
That's cool.
So yeah. I hear,
and I think Mountaintop's the top 100.
All right, I think
if you were going to talk to like a rube that doesn't know anything about these courses, tell me what they're about.
Mountain golf.
Okay.
Mountain golf. Like High Hampton is like technically in a rainforest.
Oh shit! Cool.
Yeah. Well, it rains like over 100 inches a year or something.
So these 3
and you
courses.
Want to talk about grass types and stuff, and just it's cut in the mountains and it's views. When we were talking about going places and views, this is views. This is views. This is not. This isn't going to play 7,200 yards of incredibly difficult championship golf. It's going to be hard, but it's not going to be 7,200 yards. It's going to be like, man, look at this golf hole. Now try and hit that fairway down there. You know what I mean? I think that's what's going to be fun about it.
Mm-hmm.
Should be cool though.
So I've not played any of these 3 courses, but I am very familiar with them. EJ, so High Hampton, Wade Hampton, and Mountaintop are all within like a few mile radius of each other, but I think they sit on other sides of like a lake and obviously, a mountain. And it's all about just, badass golf. So if I can add any context, High Hampton is an old resort course designed by Donald Ross, and it recently went under like a renovation, redesign, but not really, restoration, type project. So, it's up there. I can go screen share Scott on you if you want. And then you got Wade Hampton, which is like right next door.
I'm sending you that information for that. Yeah. Here you go. Here's screenshot stuff. It's coming.
So Wade Hampton is just like pristine. It's basically it was intended to be the like Augusta National of mountain golf. So it's on that level, and many people have said who've gone up and played both that they think Wade Hampton is more impressive than playing Augusta. You know, like the real mystique of Augusta is the mystique. You know, it's in the Masters, it's in Bobby Jones and Clifford Roberts. You know, it's in what the green coats, you know, put on every single, you know, second weekend in April. But Wade Hampton is just like awe inspiring. And then you've got Mountaintop, which is over the top. It's like what you would dream of a club being, but even better. So I've heard, you know, stories about going into the halfway house or going into like one of the shacks on the golf course, and they got like every kind of candy and every kind of jerky and like every kind of beverage that you can imagine, and they don't expect you to like just go in there with cash and pay an attendant. Like you just get a ticket, fill it out, and go. You know, and so I've not gotten to play any of these three courses. I have been fortunate enough to play at Old Edwards Club, which kind of aspires to, you know, to be on that level, and it's very impressive in of itself. But then you got, you know, these three. So you got one that's got the history, you got one that's got the opulence, and then one that's just got like, as you would call it, you know, the views, the inspiration, and
they all got the
man,
bag.
yeah, Pat, you need a caddy.
They all got the bag.
You need a caddy, Pat.
Hey, I don't know how it's gonna go. Pat's gonna show up and go, "Hey, what we doing?" And that's
what are you doing?
We're gonna go play golf.
You're just going up to play golf.
Yeah.
So it's like a boys' golf trip.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but they live there though. I'm just gonna go meet up with them. I'm just gonna go get to play the golf courses that they get to call on. That's all it is.
Man,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So I feel like an idiot. I've never heard of any of those courses.
And you know what? I wouldn't either if I didn't know people in the Carolinas. Don't feel bad.
And one's ranked in the top 25?
Yeah, Wade Hampton is.
That is crazy, man.
Scott, I sent you like a GCS AA YouTube video on High Hampton. Like it explains everything you talked about.
I did get a text. Yeah, I'm gonna be all over it. I'll be salivating. Do you guys see that screen?
Yeah.
All right, so up here, EJ, you got Mountaintop.
Okay.
I think it's technically in Highlands. Down here is OE that I was talking about. But you got Mountaintop here. Then you come down here into Cashers, and here's High Hampton.
What city is this close to?
Asheville.
All right.
It's kind of between Asheville and Greenville, but
have you
closer
played
to
Maggie
Asheville.
Valley?
Absolutely.
So I worked with a pharmacist that used to be the mayor of Dunedin, and he has a house up there, and he is an avid golfer. And every time he and I would work together, he would always talk about playing Maggie Valley. I love Maggie Valley. I can't wait to go hang out at the house and play Maggie Valley, him and his wife. So tell me about that course. What's that course like in comparison to these?
No comparison.
Really?
So here's the great thing about Maggie. Maggie is a privately owned public golf course. It is in good condition. Like I won't take that away from it. And it's a very fun design. It's got a good mix of like easy, moderate, and hard holes. The hard holes aren't really that difficult, but they're definitely harder than the rest. But it's not an easy course either. And so what's cool about it is the front nine plays through like the valley. It's right next to Lake Junaluska in the town of Maggie Valley, and you know you're playing down, and the front nine's relatively flat, but you got some holes where you're gonna hit your tee shots and like have the mountain, or like some, you know, ridges like off in the distance, so you see the ball contrasting against it. It's cool. But the front nine, outside of like the second green and then the third hole, it's not going to rock your world. But then you turn to the back nine. The 10th hole is kind of cool with the creek, and then you start really playing up the mountain. And so you like go up and then come back down the side of the mountain. And some of the shots, some of the holes, they're cool. So I really enjoyed it. It was a unexpected pleasure that I got. I went up to the Carolinas to go hiking, and we planned to play around at OE, so we got that in. Didn't plan to play any other golf, and then had a little incident with my buddy's family, and so we made some last minute changes, and we were going to go play at Hilton Head because we knew somebody down at Harbor Town at the time, and we're like, you know what, let's go check out Maggie Valley, and we were glad that we did. So
nice.
Good course, but it does not compare to Mountaintop, Wade Hampton. Probably doesn't compare to High Hampton or Old Edwards for certain. Just totally different league.
These are just kind of places I hope I can buy a shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
yeah.
Are the other 4 courses private?
High Hampton is a resort course. I don't know if you have to stay there to play it. But before like their current ownership, pretty certain anybody could play there. I think maybe the course might have even been struggling a little bit.
It was, yeah. Because I think it was like one of those like, just mountain courses, no bunkers, no nothing, just cut dry.
Yeah. Over time, the course was just...
We got grass, we got golf on this mountain.
Yeah. Over time, the whole resort just got neglected. And so its new ownership saw for what it really is, and is supposedly doing very well with it. Mountaintop, yeah. I mean, it's private, as nice as it comes, and Wade Hampton's probably much the same.
So this wouldn't be like a golf destination that you could go and knock out all 3 of these courses without some sort of hookup.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yep.
That's dope.
Told you I got a problem paying for golf.
Yeah, I see that, man. I see that. You got good solutions though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got too good of solutions. How you gotta start sharing these solutions.
Yeah, but you can't share those, man. It's like I can't be like, hey, let me bring 3 of my buddies along. You just go, yeah, I'm in. Yeah. That's all you can say.
And we don't blame you. You know?
Yeah. No, we don't.
We don't blame you.
It was like, hey, can you be here the 2nd of April? I'm like, yeah, I can be there. What are we doing? We're gonna go play quail. Okay, yeah, I'll be there. You just let me know.
All right. So tell me about. You grew up in Tally, right? Mm-hmm. What courses out there are of note?
I mean, we got some old ones. We got a little north of us. We got a really nice private club. But no, like of note, nah. I mean, Killearn Country Club held a tour event like back in the 70s, but it's an old golf course from the 70s. It was in a neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like nothing special. Sure. It's the one that's getting a full renovation right now. Golf's gonna be interesting in Tallahassee in the coming year though. It's pretty cool because we got 2 courses that have been closed for over a year due to renovations, but then in 24 we're gonna have those open. A couple others have done some green renovations and stuff like that. So everybody should be good in 24, and all the golf courses should be open around here, and it should be a pretty fun. I don't think it's going to be a race to the bottom and the price to pay either, though. So I think it's going to be a fun little battle to see like where the golfers go and who ends up with what.
Where's Florida State play up there?
They play their home course is the Florida State Legacy course. It used to be called the Seminole, like Don Veller. So it's had like 12 names. But yeah, no, they did I guess they did like a Nicholas renovation like 4 or 5 years ago out there. It's completely different. It's probably It's the most expensive, probably pay to play in town right now. Like
Okay.
125.
Really?
Yeah.
So in Tampa's got USF, and there's a course out there that you can play for like $17.
The claw.
That's what we used to have.
Yeah.
That's what we used to have. But it was not a bad golf course. But the thing is,
it can't be that bad if you're trying to get college golfers to get in some sort of shape to compete, right?
Right, yeah, the practice facilities are good. They're good, and Florida State has the like PGA management program that helps them with some of the golf stuff too. And that like that school is on the side of the golf course, which is kind of neat. So like you go to, if you're in the upperclassmanship of that, probably like you're going to the golf course for classes most days. That's got its bonuses. You know what I mean? So
hey, Scott, when you were in college, what were you majoring in?
Business.
Okay, so you weren't
not
in
golf.
any okay.
We didn't have that, and I didn't want it anyway. I had no intentions going into the golf business.
What was your practice facility like at school?
So we were Tuesdays and Thursdays at Grasslands Golf and Country Club.
Okay.
And then any other day of the week, we could go out to Lone Palm Golf Club, which was Mr. George's course. We could also any day of the week go out to Cleveland Heights, which I think's like the oldest course in Lakeland, if not most of Polk County. There's a few exceptions to the rule, but it's old. And trying to think where else we could go out to Eagle Brook like once or twice a semester. That was an very interesting relationship, actually. I don't know where it stands, but to be honest, like I don't think Florida Southern College is missing out on much by playing or not playing out at Eagle Brook. I think Lone Palm and Grasslands do a much better job of preparing the players really for what they have ahead of them. Lone Palm, especially now because of their recent redesign of their greens and the improvement they did to their bunkers. And then Grasslands, I don't know if they still do, but for the longest time they had Q1 stage 1 of PGA Tour Q School, and later on Corn Ferry. So I think that kind of speaks to the practice facilities and the quality of the golf courses and the challenge that they present.
Very cool. Are most colleges like that, where they just team up with like a local course?
Yep. Yeah. Nice. Most of your big universities, they'll have their own course, whether it's on their campus or nearby. I mean, one that they'll consider like their home course, but they'll have anywhere from like 4 to probably another 7 or 8 at their disposal.
And there's a pile of them that it's like a muni. I mean, it's just a course. And then there's 10 of them that's Florida State, Arizona State,
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I think like Oklahoma State's one of them. USC's I think they got a pretty killer facility.
I can tell you right now, like Ohio State, Purdue, University of Michigan, they've got killer facilities on property, on campus.
Clemson, obviously Clemson, because they have the turf grass school. They got all kinds of turf grasses on that golf course on Walker up there at Clemson.
Yeah, I'll say
they got a bunch of them.
Walker is a cool design, but Walker is not conditioned like I expected it to be.
No, because it's a test plot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what it is. Like you watch Clemson field days, and they're doing test plots right in the middle of that golf course. They're trying to catch spring dead spot on the fairways, and they're trying to catch spring dead spot to see which fungicide works best. And they'll have 12 plots, and there'll be 6 of them that'll have spring dead spot in them. They did that on purpose, So yeah, that kind of makes it. If you know the background of it, it kind of makes it a little bit cooler too, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's that course in Alabama? I forget the name of it, but they do this kind of the same thing.
Farm links.
Yeah, farm links. That's it. I'll say it's the farm or something like that.
It was Purcell's. Purcell's Fertilizer built farm links.
Okay.
The Purcells built it. Basically just using different forms of fertilizer, different grass types, and having a place to bring people up, and they build some ponds and, you know, fishing and, you know, take customers to their, you know, their test course. You know, it was a pretty cool deal. Yeah, it was a pretty cool deal. And then and I guess Coke bought the Purcell's portion of that business, I think it was. And yeah, I don't know who owns Farm Links now, but yeah,
when you say Coke,
yeah,
let's specify that. We're not talking about Coca-Cola.
Not Pablo
company.
Escobar.
No, we're not talking about Coca-Cola either.
Coke
we're talking about Koch brothers.
Yeah,
I think it's Koch
KOCH
family,
Coke.
but yeah.
Yeah.
The Koch family?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
KOCH.
Why is it that I automatically thought of Pablo Escobar?
That should be a rhetorical question.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, cool little place in Sylacauga. Yeah.
Sylacauga.
Yeah.
Well, we went down a rabbit hole here.
Still not
as we should.
Still not as cool as something like White Oak though, where the dude has like a safari on the golf course though.
Tell us
So
about
when are we
that.
gonna make that happen?
Don't know. Like,
what do you mean?
One of those.
Safari?
It's one of those. No, it's a conservation that has like animals on it and a sweet ass golf course that nobody plays.
Where's this at?
It's like on the Florida-Georgia line.
Is it
right
really?
outside of Jacksonville? Yeah, right outside of Jacksonville. Yeah. Yeah.
And why does no one play there?
Because they're not invited.
It's super private.
Yeah.
What kind of animals they got?
It's like it's like a safari. Like zebras,
like
and
lions
stuff.
And shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they got lions, but they got like zebras and stuff. Yeah.
Are they in cages, or do they just get to roam out there?
Nah, they just live out on the golf course.
No way.
Yeah.
Zebras like rip though.
Yeah.
But they're not like sheep who nip.
Dude. Nobody's out there. Yeah, no, they got like the crew. They train the crew. They know the crew knows what to do. Who knows? They might have some huge tranquilizer gun on them, or we don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
It's like that rhino over there. It looks like it's ready to charge. Get out 25.
Yeah, no, I think like
25 millimeters.
It's a real place, man.
Huh.
Yeah. Like
That's
McCurrick
crazy.
Golf is doing a renovation on it right now.
Who?
Is it?
McCurrick? Like one of the leaders in golf renovation in the state of Florida. Yeah, they're doing a renovation on it right now.
So is it like
I'm not sure.
Who renovates a Pete Dye course? Other than PB Dye or you know?
Yeah.
Is it private? It's private, right?
Yeah, it's like one owner. Like one guy owns it, and like he invites you to come play or not. You can come play on my playground or no.
That's like the guy in Texas.
Yeah.
He built like an 18-hole course out in the middle of like western Texas. And I think it's got like dinosaur bones or something on it. Yeah, they're just like pulling up all sorts of crazy stuff, but it's like county, state, federal regulations. Like I don't even think apply to what he had out there. And he just built basically a playground, and it gets like 10 rounds played on it a year. And I think he's finally decided to share it with other people.
Like, don't mess with rich people, dude. Like, that's how Sage Valley was created. Like, you don't, you know.
Well, it's funny you say that.
They do crazy stuff, you know.
Have you heard of Headwaters?
For fun.
Have you heard of Headwaters?
All right, I have a question.
It's across the street from Wade Hampton. Check it out. Check it out when you're up there, Pat.
Okay.
All right, so safari guy, right?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
All right, let's make a deal with him. Okay. He lets us play the course twice, right? We get to play the course twice. The next 24 hours, he gets to hunt us for sport. If we survive, we get to play again. Or like forever, You know what I mean? Like, we got to work out a deal. I don't know who you are, but like, training for a marathon, I'm pretty agile. Like, I might be willing to take this bet, bro.
Yeah. You know why he wants to do this? Because he's a runner.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
What a
Yeah,
turd. He's like, I just got
wants
to run
do
faster
it.
than you two.
I'm not saying like all three of us go out there. Like, I'd let him, if he lets me play before, right? And then he gets to hunt me for sport for 24 hours. And if I win, I
You're
get to
okay
play
with
again.
it.
I'm
You're
okay
all
with
right
it.
If we're
That's
talking about with
crazy.
airsoft, I'm game.
Well, I mean, I don't think it has to be fatal, right? But
Oh, of course it's going to be fatal. What's the fun in that? You don't just go out and
He
shoot a
gets to
deer for the
shoot you
heck
with
of
the
it.
tranquilizer gun, right?
yeah, Tranquilizer. The same thing they shoot
Okay.
zebras with when they start defacing the greens.
That's going to be a deep sleep.
Oh, man, that's crazy. I had no clue that there was a course like that.
Pat.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Pat, since you're not going to share Hyde Hampton.
I've never seen it. I don't know how to get to it, but yeah, I've heard it exists. It's a real place.
You know, I just was literally looking at it the other day. Golly, I gotta find it. I might have actually saved it.
What's
The
that? White Oak?
rankings. Yeah, White Oak came up on it. Let's see.
It's sick.
Which state has
Like,
the best golf in the
it's not
U.S.?
just a golf course. It's a sick golf course.
Let's see. Here we go. California's one. New York has the second most courses that are ranked. Here we go. Florida, number 3. It's got 13 courses that are ranked. At number 10 is Seminole, which is our highest ranked course. Then Sawgrass, then Calusa, and then
Sawgrass
the die course at White Oak is number 142 in Yulee, Florida. Dang, that looks sick.
Where is that?
It's on the line, dude. It's on the line, right? The Florida-Georgia line over Jacksonville. It's the home of Derrick Henry, the greatest high school football player ever.
Okay.
At the Yulee.
Private?
And then Alabama.
Private.
Traitor.
Private.
Is it a private? White Oak's private, I assume?
Yeah, you won't get in the gate.
Really?
No. Yes, it's a private. It's a one owner kind of deal, man. A guy got beat down to build a golf course. Yes.
Same thing with Safari Man?
It's the same guy.
No way.
Yes. Safari course is White Oak. It's ranked 144.
Okay, 142.
142.
142.
Yeah, like Safari course is ranked 142.
That's
nuts.
And no one
I know
gets
where
to
this
play
is.
Mm-mm.
I know where this is. Because of the Hampton, the Northampton golf course up there. Okay.
Screenshot share. Come on, man.
Well, I got to find it first.
Oh. What are you looking for?
Well, I just put in Yulee, Florida.
Oh, I got you.
All right, I got a question. Since we were going through the top courses in Florida, outside of Seminole, do you think any of them could host a major?
I'm sure there's one out there, but I don't know of it.
I mean, Sawgrass obviously could. I think the only major that would be appropriate there would be the PGA. But the PGA of America would never go there. Nor do I think the PGA Tour would actually
let them
allow it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of courses.
Could Streamsong host a major?
It kind of already has in amateur golf. It's already held a women's event, I believe, and I know it's had the amateur 4-ball. So I would say it's possible, but it's too open.
I don't think Streamsong has enough elements to host a major. It's too predictable.
And people get lost out there. I mean, like literally when you go play for the first time, they want you to take a caddy because especially on the red and the blue, like you'll get lost. And they even tell you if you're out there on golf carts, like you need to get in by a certain time. And I've experienced this elsewhere. I was actually on a die golf course as well. Like you need to be in by a certain time because when the sun starts getting low, like it's gonna be really confusing which way to go. And the GPS, isn't as reliable as you might think it would be. And yeah, your ass needs to be in. So, I found White Oak. It is in the middle of BFEs. And you're not joking, Pat, when you say it's on the line because literally it is on the St. Mary's River.
Yeah.
Which is the line.
Yeah.
And it has an island green. And it looks like a crappy golf hole. Just saying.
You don't know what the attraction is there.
Probably got fucking saltwater crocodiles and shit all around that place.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
Hippos. It's got hippos.
It might.
Yeah. That might be hole that like the monkey puts your ball on the tee or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not a crappy hole anymore.
Yeah.
Part of this course looks really sick, and then the other part of it actually looks pretty mundane. Do you guys want to see this?
142. I don't know. Who got to play?
What are we looking
judges,
at?
Though?
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, can you zoom? Or are we just... There we go. Get us closer. There we go. All right, that ain't too bad.
That's it.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. A little misdirection here with the tree. The sand.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably how they did the ranking. They're like, oh, look at all that sand.
Yeah, but then look at this part of the property. Like this doesn't even look. This doesn't even look like Pete Dye's work.
I don't think that's the same course itself. I think that road right in the middle kind of splits it up.
Yeah, but this isn't 18 holes.
No. I don't think it is. It's not designed that way. It's like its own little monster, dude.
I mean, look at the way the car path goes. I mean, this road is fictitious. Look at the way the car path is. This is the driving range.
Yeah.
Practice facility.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe these are some supplementary golf holes or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but no, it's not even the same condition. Or it's not the same picture.
That's possible.
Does a course that is ranked have to have 18 holes?
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so, but I also doubt that it really varies far from it.
Right. Right.
I mean,
that's interesting.
The Loop up in Michigan at I think it's called Forest Dunes. They've got 2 courses there. One of them's been there longer than the other one, the newer one, which I think maybe Tom Doak designed. It's 18 holes, but it's a 36-hole course.
Right, it plays both ways, right?
Yeah, they got the red and the black, so they got like 18 tee complexes, 18 greens, or actually it's probably more than 18, but it means roughly 18 of each. And one day they play red, and the other day they play black.
Yeah, and it goes in reverse, I think.
Yeah,
that's interesting too.
Which is
I wonder how difficult that was to lay out.
More difficult than putting together just 18 normal golf holes.
I mean, well, if you think about it, like you're thinking as a player, could I play this hole backwards?
Yeah.
Can't be that hard.
I think it is going to be more difficult because unless you build very mundane fairways, they're just very flat. You got to consider, okay, if I go and put any kind of mounting into this fairway or undulations, how are they going to play going one direction compared to coming back the other direction? And then you got to consider too, do I put tees next to greens? If I do, then a lot of these holes are going to end up playing like the same length, just in opposite direction. And so it's kind of like, do I want to have the same thing in reverse? I mean, not really. So you got to figure out how to strategically set it up to where the bunkers play differently instead of just being like a mirror image. Bunkers, green undulations, I mean, everything. So I think it would be more difficult, and that's why we haven't really seen it. Not Augusta. Old Course of St. Andrews was originally designed as a reversible course, but has been played that way in ages, other than like rare occasions. I do believe Tiger played it once in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a few other people who've done it in reverse, but hardly, seldom ever happens. But I think it's a great marketing idea.
So when you play the old course in reverse,
you're playing the
instead of
first tee
you're
box to
obviously not teeing off
17.
on the green. That's what I thought. Okay.
You're playing the first tee box to 17 green, and then you're playing 17 tee back to the 16th. Then you're playing, 18 tee back to the 16th. And then you're playing 17 tee, back to the 15th.
To the 15th.
Yeah, and then you finish by teeing off on the second tee box up to the 18th hole. So 1 and 18 probably aren't all that different.
That ain't backwards.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but you started on 1 going to 17.
Yeah. Instead of going from 1 to 1, you're going 1 to 17.
Yeah, but if you went backwards, you got to start on 18, don't you?
No.
You don't have to go 18 to 17 to play a course backwards.
Because then what would you do when you get done?
You're done on 1 tee box.
Yeah, but then you missed the hole. You've only played 17. Okay. Screen share. Scott's going to save the day.
Are you pulling up St. Andrews?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I'm not grabbing what you're saying here. You got me confused.
I love that you're calling yourself screen share Scott.
I mean, I've got many names. My wife's got a name.
One.
My wife's got a name for me. I like to call myself the Jolly Golfer. I'm becoming screen share Scott. I mean, who cares?
I know. I love it. It's the best.
It's just an element.
Still shot Scott tonight.
Still shot Scott?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Sawyer has been still the whole time for me.
All right, so here's the old course.
Where's the okay? So, all right, I see the 17th green is just beyond
right here.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So you tee off here, start your round on 1, right behind the Royal and Ancient.
Yeah,
or I guess right out front of it. And you play over here, and then I don't know if they would just have you tee off from here, so you're not going over people's heads.
Well, you probably go to the 18th tee. Where's the 18th tee?
Right here.
Where's the 16th green?
16th green is over there.
Is this a 5 now?
I don't know. I mean, 17 is pretty long. And then you play from 17 back to 15.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you play from the 16th tee box or 15th tee, whatever this is. 16th tee box down there and go to the 14th. Especially with the double greens, it makes it so much more realistic.
Yeah.
So you keep going, and then eventually you're going to find yourself back here at the first green.
From 2 tee going to 1 green.
Yeah, and you've played 17 holes, and so you're going to go off of this 2 tee back to the 18th. So like 1 and 18 on the reverse isn't all that different than it is on the direction we know. Now, obviously, this green plays very different, but in essence, it's not all that different.
A green plays cool too.
It looks like it would be more accessible from that side.
I mean, I
don't know
why
people don't make golf courses that can go backwards anymore?
Why?
Tell us.
Because they like to build houses around golf courses now.
At least in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have an open piece of property to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Just wide open. You can't have a house on it. You can't have a house on one of the fairways because you might have to go over it.
Well, though, if you really think about it, if they're just willing to keep the homes further off the golf course, why couldn't they do it?
Yeah, I mean, you would just have like one perimeter of houses.
But could you imagine if golf course design and in particular, you know, um, if community developers, shoot, I don't know why I'm sharing the screen again. If they got a little bit smarter and said, "Hey, you know what? I think I think rather than just putting in another 18-hole golf course trying to sell some homes, I'm gonna do a reversible course." And it's like maybe in the mornings, Mondays through Thursdays, we're gonna play one direction, and then we're gonna say everybody's got to be done by 2 p.m. or they got to be done by twilight, and then at twilight we're gonna open it up, you know, and we're gonna start going in the opposite direction, with a
Do
reversible
it
golf
like the
course.
villages. Do it like
I
the
mean, in a
villages
sense,
where you have the 7:30 shotgun, and then you got the 1 o'clock or whatever it is.
I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean that's how they play golf down there.
that's even a
Like you don't
possibility.
you
It's
don't
a good
get the
That
idea.
nine you
it
don't get the nine forty
that
five tee time,
I
But
love that.
yeah,
but it's
what
a
if they
full
did
golf
something
course
like that?
though.
Yeah, and they've built
It's
18
not
holes,
fast.
maybe 18 to
I
20 holes,
it's not.
but they've got 36 holes of actual golf to be played. Now you're changing it up for your membership or for your residents. Now you're changing it up for your demographic that's going to come out there and play. And that's one of the things that Forrest Dune said. Hey, we want to put in another course. We're not certain we're ready to go full 18. How can, or full 36? Like, what can we do that's unique? Get people in here, get them to stay. And they talked to, they consulted Tom Doak, and he's like, let's build a reversible golf course. Then
That's
there's
cool.
3 days worth of golf here, but we've only built 36 holes.
Right.
I mean, it's a killer idea. It's one that I think just people are getting totally missed on, and it's why I like to argue, different things like, why do we need to grow the game, or why is it that we need to hit the ball higher with lower spin, all these different various things, and there are very good reasons for each and every argument. But I think that's also a lot of what we're just told to do. And I think like one of the things that a lot of people feel is like, oh, you build 18 holes, or you go, if you want more golf, you build 36. And we're finally seeing some people break out of that shell and put together, a reversible golf course, or say, you know what, I'm going to do something that's 12 or 13 holes. One of the things that's great about Stream Song, at least with the blue and the red, they built the first 6 holes to stay close to the golf shop. So if you went and got 18 in and you want to get in a little bit more, you can go and play a 6-hole loop. The black, I don't know about, but I know on the blue and the red. And it's like people are finally getting outside the box. And I love it, you know?
Hmm.
And they're doing things that's actually meeting, I think, the needs of the golfer rather than just telling them, this is what you should do.
Yeah, so the course in Tallahassee, Killarn, that's doing the renovation was originally an 18-hole course. They added 9 somewhere along the way. I don't think it opened as a 27-hole, but it might have. But then they closed the extra 9 in like 2014, maybe. I don't know, somewhere in there. And so it's been closed. Just they bush hog it. I mean, that's literally all they do with it. And so when it was purchased and the renovation started, they basically were like, well, what are they going to do with it? Because there's been like lawsuits over it about people wanting to put houses on it and all this kind of stuff. But so what he's going to end up doing is taking part of it. They're extending the driving range some, so they're taking part of it and they're going to make it more of a maintenance area, and the maintenance shop's going to be back on it. But they're going to take 6 of the holes, the property from 6 of the holes originally, and make 9 holes in it. So
Okay.
right, so obviously, I
Executive.
mean that's that's what I've been told that the plan is they're going to make like it's going to be called like the Shamrock, and they're going to play. It's going to be like 9 holes and 6 holes of property. So obviously, what's the par? I don't know, but it's going to be like a practice course, which I
Have you
think
gotten
Probably
over
similar to
is fantastic.
have you gotten over and played Camp Creek and Origins?
I haven't played Origins. I have played Camp Creek. I do know about Origins though, because Origins is like a little pitch and putt kind of place.
I mean,
Basically,
it is, but like,
it's super nice though.
yeah, it's similar to what you're talking about. And I know one of the guys up there. He's my guy that was at Harbor Town. He's now over at Camp Creek and Origins, and um, it's just cool because it's kind of like a golf park rather than just a golf course. And so
Hmm.
I don't know if you could say that they got a set number of golf holes, but depending on the way you want to play it, you might go out and play 6 or 7 holes, or you can switch it up and get in like 12.
Yeah.
And that's to me really cool. Again, it's kind of giving the golfer the freedom, to decide what it is they want to do rather than being told this is what you're going to do.
And I don't remember, but I know that I don't know if Camp Creek went full seashore or not, but I think the Origins was like seashore past Palom, which makes it kind of cool as well.
What's that turf like to play on?
It's different. I've played on it a couple times. It's different. It's
a very salt tolerant turf,
yes,
isn't it?
like use salt water as herbicide. Yeah, because the
Oh,
weeds
wow.
will choke out but the past Palom won't. Yeah. No, it's an interesting turf. It gets grain really easy from what I've seen, and
Not surprised.
which kind of makes it different. But at the same time, in some of the places that it is, it's pretty wild. But at the same time, I think the maintenance of it is difficult because there's not a lot of it, and there's not tons and tons of data and research behind it and how to get it to its full potential. And if you're growing seashore past Palom, like what's your growing environment to start with? You know, is the way I look at it. Because you're growing that grass for a reason. You can't grow most everything else that people grow on a golf course.
Is seashore past Palom a genetically created turf, or is it something that was like organic, something that naturally occurred that they discovered was really good for golf?
Most grass types, from what I've seen, and then just this is my personal opinion from what I've seen, but most of them are just off types of a different turf. You know, they'll say, "Hey, this is a new zoysia." Well, it's really just an off type that came out of a Myers field that spread and ate up that Myers field and became a new turf. It's not people in a lab building grasses. I mean, in some cases they are. You know, some cases they're taking a little bit of an off type of this that grew in the shade over here, and then they're going to take it to, you know, mass produce it and get it growing and create a turf with it. It's an interesting process. I don't know a whole lot about it because there's all kinds of successes and failures in that, and which ones get marketed the most and pushed behind, and just like any other market, you know.
Sounds very similar to weed. You know what I'm saying? Different strains of weed are all crossbred, and then whatever is named best comes out and gets the most popular.
Very, very similar. Yep.
So I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
And it's something that I like to ask and I always forget to ask. So I'm not forgetting tonight, and I'm curious. What kind of playing conditions or what kind of weather do you prefer to play in that's considered undesirable?
Hot
A
as shit.
drizzling rain.
A drizzling rain, okay?
One of those
You
rains that's like umbrella, no umbrella. You know, how many towels am I going to need today? Because everything's going to get wet, but not soaking wet that we're going to have to quit and it just rains all day long. I will beat your brains out in that kind of weather.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. What do you like about it then?
Because it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers everybody else. It's a clear advantage. Like it starts raining and I go, I got you boys. Y'all are getting ready to, start worrying about stuff being dry and just it's like my brain goes into another mode at that point, and it is what it is. You hang on to it the best you can, and you hit golf shots. And the golf course gets easier to me in that case, because usually it gets softer, and you just hit it where you want it and let it be. Take another club because everything's wet.
What about
Sometimes
you,
you're gonna
Scott?
hit crazy flyers.
I want to hear
stuff,
what
but
you
yeah,
think,
no,
EJ.
drizzling rain.
Mine is super hot weather. You know what I mean? It's just the unbearable heat that's causing you to sweat, and everything is wet. I've just with the running and all the stuff that I've been able to do, that just doesn't bother me anymore. So now playing in the heat is great for me.
Yeah, the guy that plays a lot of golf that gets tired after 14 holes, those days, I know what you're talking about.
That's gone. Yeah. That's gone.
Where it's like you got, and I'm a big like hands dry guy too on sweaty days. So I got rosin bags, I got pine tar, man. I am Trevor Bauer in my damn golf bag. I got all the little stickies in there.
I have hand deodorant that I put on, hand antiperspirant that I wear. It's called Carpe.
I don't know which ones I got.
Bullfrog?
It's
I'd say
best.
Bullfrog's what I'm familiar with.
I put that on before I play. That's like that shit that kid used to get stuck on his shirt.
This is my little Ziploc that rides in my bag. You can't see it. Hang on, let me turn that on. Check this out. People laugh at me every time. Every time I pull this out, I'll get on a tee box somewhere. See, I got this one, this dry glove. This one's pretty good.
Nice.
We got the dry hands. This one's empty though. It's got a little bit left in it. This is my favorite though, the pine tar. Take a little
you
pine
really
tar.
use pine tar? That is crazy.
Yes.
So do you re-grip your clubs after you put that stuff on the hands?
No. No. And I like
the grips
sticky, dude.
Sticky?
I just go 2 gloves.
Tommy 2 gloves. No, I can't do the 2 gloves.
I just go 2 gloves.
Like the back of my hands being wet and stuff just drives me crazy.
Black FootJoy, all weather, whatever they're called. Rain gloves, 2 of them. Yeah.
I got those. I'm the only person that I play with that has those. Everybody else that I play with is not willing to play in the rain.
My boy Mikey, he wears them every round. Doesn't matter if it's raining or not.
He must sweat like a whore in church.
And you know what's funny though is I don't like playing in the rain. Like if we're not playing for something or some kind of tournament, I'm not playing in the rain. I don't like it. But like if we're playing and it means something today and we're playing in some type of tournament and it's raining, oh baby. I'm hoping it's not going to lightning, because if it lightens, I can't play in my conditions, baby. Just let it drizzle all day long and no lightning.
Yeah. I played in a tournament in the rain at Black Diamond, and I shot 78. I played well. So, are you giving me a face? You don't believe me?
No, I do believe you. That's a hell of a round. You left that out.
Yeah.
You left out that you played in the rain at Black Diamond and that you shot 78.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, Mr. Humility.
And I shot even par through the quarry. Which was...
What the hell did you do? How do you go and play the quarry so well in those other holes so poorly?
Yeah, I mean, well, we started on... where'd we start? It was a shotgun. So we started on, I think, 10 or 11. I think we started on 10, maybe. So the quarry was early, right?
Yeah.
So I warmed up, got into the quarry, played solid, and started drinking. So,
do you ever imagine what if?
Yeah, I do. I hit this really nice shot to like 2 inches on a par 3, closest hole in one chance I've had. 140 yards. I hit like a 9 iron to 2 inches. I was like, okay, but yeah, great round.
So let's talk about that for a minute. How many hole-in-ones have you had? Obviously, EJ's had none.
I've had none.
Pat?
One.
Okay.
You?
I've had some.
I was about
Come
to say,
on, man.
Scott's one of those guys that's had like 12, just like,
No,
I've
I'm
had,
actually on a dry spell.
I've had 8, yeah.
I'm on
How
like a
many have you
16.
had?
I'm on like a 16-year dry spell.
It doesn't
Okay.
matter. How many have you had?
Between the ages of 19 and 23, I had 6.
Yo, that's sick.
Yeah.
That was in college?
Yeah, pretty much college years. And after.
Any in tournament?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hang
My
on
first
a
one
second,
was
though.
in my first one was in
Here's a better
qualifying.
question, though. Here's a better question. How many hole-in-ones did you have that in the 3-hole stretch that hole-in-one was made, did you finish under par?
I don't remember. Probably all of them, to
Really?
be honest. Yeah. But I will tell you this, when I made my first eagle at the age of 12, I backed it up with bogeys. And my dad rode my rear end for that. He was like, you got excited and made the eagle, and then you went bogey, so you just netted out even par for those 3 holes. What good did that do for you? And I'm like, I'm 12 years old, and I think there's a moral to your assholeness.
So you had like, oh no, so that was your first eagle. Never mind. I was like, wait a minute. So you've had more than 6? I was like, wait a minute, because that was
No,
before
that was the
19,
first
but no, that
eagle.
was an eagle. I got you.
It
Okay.
was a par 5 on Weather Wax, which no longer exists. It's a park now. And I went 3 wood, middle of the green. The pin was in the back. Had like a 40-foot banger, knocked it in, and I was excited. Like Jack Nicklaus, 17 at Augusta, excited. And then backed it up with bogeys. And since then, couldn't tell you how many eagles I've made. Not saying it's been that many, but I lost count after the first one. But I did make some hole-in-ones, and I made
6.
one. Yeah. So I made one my first one was in qualifying. Didn't believe it. Like, I'm practically on somebody's patio thinking maybe the ball's hiding behind the flagstick. Because I have seen that happen. The ball will just be down there, and it's like blending in. You can't really differentiate, even though it's a lot wider. You can't really differentiate, what's flag and,
Yeah.
what's the ball. So anyway,
Thought mine went in the bunker.
yeah. So later on, I made another one in the Polk County Am, and that one was maybe the most badass because we're playing out at Lake Region, which is now called Country Club of Winter Haven, and it was the 6th hole. And you're talking about like drizzly rain. That's what we had with like 30-mile-per-hour winds. And so I'm aiming left of the green and hit my power draw. And when I struck that thing, it's like out to sea over this lake, over the lake. I think it's like called Lake Hamilton or something. And it gets beyond the trees. And in the last like 30 yards of the hole, it probably like sliced 30 to 40 yards. And it lands like 10 feet short of the hole and goes in. I mean, to be dead honest, without question, the luckiest of them all. But it was awesome. It was amazing. Like, just to see it. And that one, it definitively went the hole. Like, it clanked that flag and it dropped. And I was like speechless,
Yeah,
I can't believe
I'm
this.
sure.
And what also made it badass was my girlfriend, now wife, was there and witnessed it.
Oh, that's cool.
That's swaggy. That's really cool. You know what I mean?
It was.
Very, very cool.
I was trying to
I don't know.
think I didn't hit it, but there was a dude in the springtime tournament in Tallahassee. It's a pretty it's probably one of the biggest one in town. Is an amateur event. It's I think it's only 2 days these days, but no, there's out of Capital City. There's like number 13. It's like 290, 310. You know, one of those quirky little. It's like barely uphill, but it's flat and has a little bunker in the front. Like you can make 5 in a heartbeat, but you're gonna try and hit a hard 3-wood or bunt a driver and try and roll it up, end up in the bunker, and then you gotta hit it to the top shelf, and you know what I mean, 3-putt from there, and shit, you know, should have just hit a 7-iron off the tee, but no. Buddy of mine, Clay Cantley, he's a scratch golfer. He's a good player. He had a hole in one in the springtime on a par 4.
Oh shit!
That's cool.
Like, dude, like, wait, I mean, good luck playing the next hole.
This kid just did it at the Monday Q at the John Deere.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that story.
18 years old or something like that.
Yeah, big boy, whatever his name was.
What about Caitlin Clark, Iowa basketball player, playing in the Pro-Am?
What'd she shoot?
What?
I don't know. I didn't get that.
That's cool that she got to play. I think that's the kind of spots that should be used for. You know what I'm saying? She's a freaking hero in the state.
Well, I mean, she's playing in the Pro-Am. She's not playing in the tournament, you know, proper.
Right.
But still, yes, I agree.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a single shot of that tournament. But
there's not many of them from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of them. Like, the ball just finds the hole at that place.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Which is crazy, though. But that's how good they are.
I know.
And like,
what else we got, Scott?
I don't know. Is there anything that we haven't touched upon that we should?
We're like an hour 20.
Hour 36.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Jeez, time flies.
There you go.
That's crazy. I can't believe it's that late.
I will say this, though. Women's golf is underrated.
Badly.
Yeah.
And you know what I wish that we got more coverage of? Amateur golf.
Yeah.
Like, let us see the north-south and the magnolia and the dogwood. And, you know what I mean? Like, come on, Golf Channel.
They don't show any golf.
No.
All PGA Tour. That's it.
Hey, you know what, though? They show some infomercials, and that's what we'll talk about next time. Training aids and infomercials.
Sounds good.
Yes.
I like that.
We should talk about training aids and infomercials for certain.
Man. Training aids. I love some training aids. And hey, when you look at training aids, they pop in your algorithm all of a sudden. You're looking at more training aids.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Just Google a few and see what happens. Performance golf will eat you up.
I know.
Pat, I am curious about something. This amateur event you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Springtime.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you play? Do you play in it?
Oh, man, I haven't in a while. Mm-mm.
I think you should. I think we should have a live pod from there. And I think EJ and I should come out there, you know, pump up the gallery, but also get it on record.
See, there's no gallery at this one, I don't think.
Oh, there will be.
Unless there's the end game. Yeah, I don't know. I do need to play in something. I thought about playing in something lately, but I just hadn't done it.
You got the new sticks. Me, EJ, we'll get Renato to come up.
I think Renato's coming up 2-3 weeks. I think he's coming up here for some work stuff. But you know how that'll hang out. That'll work for a little while.
Yeah, just stay out of the Waffle House, okay?
Yeah, we'll stay out of the Waffle House. Definitely gonna do that one.
That might end up on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm done.
See you guys.
Later on, y'all.
See you, boys.
Have a good one.